Okay, I'm back. I'm sitting in the kitchen now. Um, you can see the little chicken behind me. I made that. The My significant other is a he built this house and did an absolutely wonderful job. He had some wood left over, so I wanted to be creative. So I made this. It says "Welcome to our coop," which you can't really see that very good, but anyway, it's something I did. I tried to do things like that to um, because I enjoy it. I like being crafty and creative. Anyway, so here we are. We're living in this little, very small town, and we um, he decides to quit, which I did not blame him for quitting because it really infuriated me that she would do that after all we had gone through when we were in Texas. She knew that we could not get along with him, and he causes a lot of problems. So why she would even have her ex-husband to be involved with the company, I don't know. I don't know what she was thinking. So anyway, he quit working there. He decided to go in business for himself, and he didn't have hardly anything to work with. So his dad went in business with him, and they had a few little tools. And, you know, I'm not going to say what they did because I'm trying to make this as well, I can't think of the word, but, I don't want to bring up anything that's going to I don't want them finding this on YouTube. So I'm trying to be real careful about names, which I did say my last name one time and I did say my ex's name one time. So I'm going to have to figure out a way to edit that out because I cannot have that. Anyway, so we're living in this house and he decides to go in business. He had a few little jobs to do, so we were surviving. Um, so he was back in our hometown working, which this little town that we were living in was about a 40-minute drive away. So it was a rural area. So, it wasn't that bad. I continued to stay there. He stayed, with his parents in the hometown, and they were getting this business started. So, I continued to work at the daycare and, had my kids in the school. And I stayed in this house because the rent was cheap and it was a nice little house. And, we were hoping that we would be fine. Um, well, his sister was upset with him for quitting, and her ex-husband started harassing me on the phone at night, trying to scare me. And even though I lived next to the jail, I still didn't feel safe with him because he was very erotic and a very scary person. And he was calling all during the night, waking me up and saying these things, and it was just unnerving and it upset me. And I didn't want to be that far away from my husband with three small children. So uh, I told him that he had to get me away from there. And I didn't want anything to do with his sister or, her ex-husband or uh, her husband that she was with. I wanted to be away because they were working in that town. And, it was just, they were picking their kid up at school there. And, I would see them and it was just real complicated. So we found a house in our hometown, and I went to my mother's and stayed with her for a little bit until we could get, in this house and everything. So we got moved, and things were going pretty good. The kids, were in school, and they started playing baseball, and I started meeting, other moms and dads, and we got involved in the school, and things started looking up. His business was doing pretty good, and we, we felt like we were finally seeing the light at the end of the tunnel. So we, you know, we felt good at that time. Uh, I finally had a little extra money that I could spend on myself. The friends that we had, I learned that, you know, what was in style, what all the other mothers were wearing and doing and stuff. And it was the tanning beds, and it was the things that they bought for their kids. And so I started trying to keep up with everybody. Um, I wanted to have friends, and I wanted, to fit in and be cool, and, be the kind of mother that stood out, like, my parents didn't get involved with the kids with us at school. So I was the mother that was always at the school. My kids ran for king and queen, and we tried to stay involved as much as we could. Um, my husband started helping coaching the baseball teams. Then when football came along, he coached football, and I was the cheerleader coach, and we were involved in the PTA. We finally was voted in to be PTA president. He was the president, I was co-president, and we volunteered, and we did everything that had to do with that school. We were involved, and I started substitute teaching there, and I really liked it. Uh, it was hard on me to some extent, but that was the beginning of me having health problems. So anyway, we were doing really good. We lived in that house, and then we moved to a house closer to where the kids were going to school. And a friend of his had built him a new house, and he was wanting to rent that house. So my husband said, "Let's go look at it. It's a bigger house and everything." So we did. We went and looked at it, and I loved it. It had a pool and everything. So we had a grand old time, that summer with the pool and everything. We bought the kids a trampoline, and things were just looking up, and the kids were doing good in school, and so it was what I always wanted. I finally reached the level that I wanted, mainly for my kids. I didn't want them to have the kind of life that I had. In the beginning of our marriage, I thought there was no hope. I thought that, we were going to be in poverty, and, our poor little kids were not going to have any friends and everything. But they ended up being very popular in school, and my little girl, she won beauty walks, and we were just involved in all that mess, and it ended up not even mattering. I'll tell you about that at another time. But anyway, we moved to this big house, and he was working, making good money, and I didn't have to work at that time. I later started when our daughter started kindergarten, I started working at the school. I started out volunteering, and I was there all the time. So the teachers started asking me to come and work for them on their days off. So I had to sign up for substituting. So I did that, and I loved being at the school with my kids. Um, it was fun. They loved me being there, and it gave me a way to look out after them and everything. So it worked out. But the house that we were living in was a huge home, and the power bill and the utilities period was more than we could afford. And since my husband got us in such debt when we were living in this other place, um, we had to, well, actually we moved and he just stopped paying some of those bills. We didn't pay off the refrigerator. We didn't, I don't think we paid off the VCR. We just moved. So our credit was bad again. Not real bad, but it was bad. We couldn't have bought a house or anything. So we decided that the house that we were in was just more than we could afford. And so we moved into an apartment, a 3-bedroom apartment. It was energy efficient. It was more practical. And so we lived there about a year. And then we moved to, we started getting in debt again. Work was slow. Uh, I can't recall why we did this, but at one time we moved back in with his parents. I can't remember if it was before we went into the bigger house or after, but we had moved back into his parents' house. It was before our daughter went to school, and we moved back in there so we could pay some of the bills down because the companies that he was buying his equipment and things from for his business, uh, we were spending too much money, and we got behind, and we had to move in with his parents again to help get that paid down. Um, so then we moved into the apartment, and it was fine there for a while, but they found out we were not in the school zone, so we had to move again. So here we are on move number let's see. We are on move number 39. We were renting a house, and the rent was cheaper and everything, and we fixed it up and all, and we were living there, and we took a trip somewhere, and our daughter got her finger mashed in one of the fast food restaurants bathroom door. So we got, I think, $5,000. We took that money and paid down on a mobile home. And we lived in the mobile home for about 4 years. And my husband's business was doing good. We were doing good. We were PTA presidents and doing all that. Well, he fell and broke his wrist. And he was trying to build a deck on the back of the trailer, and he fell off the deck holding a skill saw, and he broke his wrist, and he had to have surgery on it, and it took a while for it to heal. During that time, he couldn't work. We didn't have any kind of insurance for him if he, got hurt or anything like that. So he had to file bankruptcy. And we filed the bankruptcy, and we hoped with all our heart that nobody would find out about it. So anyway, we did that, and so our credit was ruined again. So we still had our trailer, and we didn't lose it. But you know, he was out of work, and we couldn't pay for it, so we decided to sell it, and we moved in with his parents. Um, then we moved across the street from his parents. There was a house there that came available, and it was easy to me. And you know, I felt, well, we can move in that house, and she can help me watch the kids so I could go to work and full time. I needed a job that I could work full time, um, so I could have insurance, health insurance. So, because we lost it when he got hurt at work, we lost our health insurance, you know, and with 3 children and they're playing sports and all that, we needed the insurance. So I ended up getting a job at the hospital. Um, it was a nurse's aide, which I didn't mind. I loved taking care of people, and I loved working there. Um, Let me get a drink. Um, it was a little embarrassing to be a nurse's aide because back then nurses were mean, and you know, having that job was like your low class, you know, to be an aide because you have to do the nasty stuff. And but you know, I had insurance. We had, you know, a second income coming in, and he got a job with a different company. He didn't try to go back in business. He was working with a different company. So, you know, we were doing better. And we I worked there for probably 3 years. And oh, I've got to go back because this is very important. When our daughter was in first grade, I want to say, we had made friends with this couple that we absolutely loved. We went on vacations together. We did a lot of things together. I'm going to have to cut this short because my significant other just came home, and I'm going to greet him at the door and love on him a little bit. And I don't know when I'll be able to get back on here because I don't know. We'll see. Probably tomorrow, maybe. So anyway, I'm going to say goodbye for now, but I do want to bring up this very important detail.